Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to join you all here today on this historic special session of the United Nations General Assembly as we gather to deliberate upon the world drug problem that continues to pose challenges across the world. We are meeting in this format 7 years after the 2009 political declaration. We are also meeting only months after we adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development to build peaceful, prosperous and secure societies. The drug problem impacts our ability to attain the objectives of our collective 2030 Agenda. It is a problem with the global dimension and requires collaboration across borders. The 3 conventions adopted by the international community have served us well in limiting and managing the drug problem. The conventions provide sufficient flexibilities to member states to fine-tune their domestic laws so as to be commensurate with the realities and challenges of the 21st century. We strongly believe in the centrality of these 3 international drug control conventions in addressing and countering the world drug problem. We firmly believe that the conventions provide ample scope to incorporate the human face of the drug problem. Terrorism constitutes one of the most dangerous threats to civilized societies today. Terrorism knows no borders, and terrorists continue to strike cities and innocent civilians across continents. The growing nexus of the drug trafficking and terrorist networks endangers peace, security, and stability across regions. We have to continue to toughen our collective fight against these evils. India is firmly committed to the 3 United Nations Conventions on drug matters. As suppliers of licit opiate raw material to the world and traditional licit opium cultivator for centuries, India is fully conscious of its own responsibilities to eradicate any illicit cultivation, reduce demand, and put in preventive and enforcement measures. National efforts, however, intense and sincere, cannot adequately deal with the drug problem. Bilateral, regional, and international cooperation is essential in this area. One such area which needs extensive international cooperation is the coordinated action against emergence and abuse of new psychoactive substances. India recognizes the global importance of licit trade in precursor chemicals and the need to effectively control the illicit trafficking of precursors for use in manufacturing of drugs. Several steps are being undertaken for strengthening of supply and demand reduction activities as well as treatment and aftercare facilities through a public health approach. India is committed to ensure the availability of controlled substances for medical and scientific purposes while preventing their diversion, abuse, trafficking, and ensure availability of drugs in palliative care, pain relief, and opioid substitution therapy for cancer patients and drug abuse victims, and has in May 2015 notified uniform and simplified rules relating to essential narcotic drugs to remove regulatory barriers. Money laundering and illicit financial flows and proceeds of crime generated from drug trafficking and other transactional organized crime remains a major challenge. The criminal network and the drug syndicates can only be effectively busted by disrupting their financial flows. I am happy to share that India and the UNODC hosted the Networks meeting in November 2015 in New Delhi to enable fast inter-regional cooperation in this context. To further augment the regional cooperation to combat crimes relating to drugs and money laundering in the region, India, in coordination with the UNODC, is in advanced stages for setting up a regional coordinating center for South Asia named SARICC, South Asia Regional Intelligence and Coordination Center, with India, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Maldives as founding members. The task ahead in the next 3 years is arduous indeed. I am confident that this session and its outcomes will give a new impetus to the national, bilateral, regional, and international action towards realizing a world free of drug abuse in our lifetime and achieve the sustainable future we want. I thank you.
Doy las gracias.